What is up, rockers of the Rock Nation? This is your fellow rocker here, X, Rockerman X, and I know this video is a day late, but I'm here kind of reacting to, well, not really reacting, just giving my thoughts and somewhat my opinions on the WWE, aka the World of Wrestling Entertainment, 2016 Draft, which, before I say anything, I know I might have mentioned this in a video before. I know I mentioned this on Facebook and possibly Twitter. But, yeah. Thank God for the draft being back. Hopefully, they make this a yearly thing. And I literally mean, because back in the old days, you know, before they had said, oh, let's make Raw a super show. Let's have both shows together where all the superstars can appear on both shows, which at the time made sense when it was transitioning. And now just Tuesday night, moving SmackDown back to being live, where it used to be. You know, they said, oh, let's bring the draft back for that night as well. Let's have the draft. I really am hoping they make the draft a yearly thing. Again, why? Because the draft was always something that after WrestleMania, you looked forward to. Because if I remember right, the draft was always after WrestleMania. Maybe not the night after, but it was at least maybe anywhere between a week to a month after WrestleMania. Usually, I specifically say usually, because my memory does not serve me right when it comes to that. You know, again, it was always something you could look forward to after WrestleMania. It was always a good thing. It always shook things up that way after about a year, you know. It shook things up to where you could do different storylines, stuff like that. It wasn't the same old stuff. Though I'm glad they brought it back. I'm glad they made SmackDown Live again. I'm glad they brought the draft back. For WWE, that is. I can't speak. But, you know, also before I say anything else, you know, the way they done the draft this year seemed really odd to me, especially considering like the ways they've done it in the past, where they had like the superstars come out and all that good shit. But this year it was just, but this time around it was just like they had. I'm trying to think how to word this. Like the way they did it is they just had the commissioner of that brand and the GM of that brand together up on stage draft picking, which. Okay, I like it. I like the idea of them just doing that. You know, like an actual sports-like draft where they come up, they draft who they want, whatever. The only thing I don't really like about, which makes sense to me in a way because they went through more draft picks that way, which I like. But at the same time, I kind of wish it would go back to like the older draft picks where it was either so many after a match, which kind of made it more exciting. Like, you know, you had to earn the draft picks, which in a way I did like that, but I also like this a little bit better just because, again, you go through more draft picks this way, the way of them just picking. But I don't know really what to say. Like, I feel like they should have had some, I feel like they should have had some superstar reactions, you know. Granted, they did, but it was all on the network. But when I was watching the draft, it was on the network. It was on fucking Smackdown. Because a lot of people want to see what they're doing. Would rather watch it like that than watch it on the network. But, I really don't know what to say. But, yeah, there's that. But, again, you know, because I remember back in the day, they used to have superstars, you know, all sitting back wearing, at the time, their representative brand shirts, and if they got drafted, you know, they would cut to the back, whatever, they would cut to the locker rooms, they would cut to the back of the superstar reaction, or, you know, later on they would have them come out to the ring, whatever. So, you know, I know I'm just ranting about the same stuff, but it's kind of true, and I feel like doing that would have made this draft a little bit more exciting, to see the superstars' actual reactions on SmackDown and not on the network, because, you know, a lot of the actions was after the fact they got drafted and they talked about it, you know. What about the initial shock reaction to it? Stuff like that. Also, like just that initial, you know, Because I remember one time they had Triple H drafted to SmackDown, I think, and he had water and just spit it everywhere. You know, that was a funny reaction. You know, we kind of want stuff like that. But, you know, people say, oh, that's cheesy, whatever. But that's how I feel about it. And that's how I feel like they should have done the reactions instead of having them like an interview. I feel like we'd better have that initial shock reaction of, like, say, you know. But I guess, too, that wouldn't make really sense because there hasn't really been a draft in since, like, 2010. I want to say about 2009, 2010. I think about 2010. Is that about 6 years? So, there's that. Maybe that's just me thinking, hey, you know, they should do like this, go back to the old system. But, you know, I do like the fact they just picked the superstars, because, again, letting them go through like 15 or so draft picks. And the network, they had the supplemental draft, which I like, you know, which I feel like they should have just drafted the whole roster on SmackDown, but, yeah. But before I get to the rosters, and before I talk more about it, no, this episode of SmackDown wasn't a terrible SmackDown. It actually was, because here's the thing. I'm not saying this episode of SmackDown was a bad episode of SmackDown, because here's the thing. You know, you're not going to really get the feel, because it was a draft episode, so you're not really going to get the feel of SmackDown live until the week after. And on top of that, too, you have the I swear, if they do 20 pay-per-views a year to where they're all together, it's going to be really, or they should just do one a month, what they did, you know, have SmackDown pay-per-view a month, have, you know, stuff like that, unless they do joined pay-per-views every month, which also, I feel like that'd be better, just have the joined pay-per-views every month, instead of doing, like, if they do go up to 20 a year, I swear, just have a joined pay-per-view every month, and then, of course, keep the SummerSlam, Survivor Series, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble. Keep all that. Just keep it as a joint pay-per-view. And keep it, you know, the pay-per-views, the big 4 pay-per-views the same as well. People are going to be like, oh, well, that's stupid. Well, do you really want 20-some pay-per-views a year? Possibly. Hell no, you do not want 20-some pay-per-views a year. Fuck that. Granted, they could just do one pay-per-view a month for each brand. You know, like, say, after the Royal Rumble, after that being a joint pay-per-view, you know, have SmackDown have a pay-per-view, and then have Raw, or not have Raw, let SmackDown have their pay-per-view, go to WrestleMania, you know, after WrestleMania, let Raw have their pay-per-view, you know, do something like that. You know, alternate who gets their solo pay-per-views as well, that way there's still only one pay-per-view a month. But I feel like it'd just be better if they keep it all together, but, again, just my opinion. But, yeah. That's really all I gotta say about that. Now, on with the rosters, and I'm going to talk about what they did here eventually and what kind of pissed me off a little bit. But, yeah, for Raw, we got Seth Rollins, Charlotte, Finn Balor, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, The New Day, Sami Zayn, Sasha Banks, Chris Jericho, Rusev with Lana, which I feel like they should have separated them, and if Lana's going to have a solo career, they really should have separated them, but they didn't, but oh well. So they drafted them together. Yeah, Kevin Owens, Enzo, and Big Cass, Gallows and Anderson, and that's when they kind of split the club up. Yeah, they got Big Show, Nia Jax, Neville, Cesaro, Sheamus, and that was all the SmackDown draft, or on live air draft. Now, this is the supplemental ones that they grabbed. They got Golden Truth, Titus O'Neil, Paige, Darren Young with Bob Backlund, Cara, so they split up the Lucha Dragons, Jack Swagger, Dudley Boyz, Summer Rae, Mark Henry, Braun Strowman, officially splitting up the Wyatt family as well. Bo Dallas, Shining Stars, Lisa Fox, Dana Brooke, and Curtis Axel. And for the SmackDown roster, excuse me, and I think I accidentally just burped right into the mic without trying to. Whoops. Oh well. But we got Dean Ambrose, AJ Styles, John Cena, Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, Becky Lynch, Miz with Maurice. Again, I feel like they should have separated them, but I guess Maurice isn't really going to be a wrestler anymore, so there's that. Baron Corbin, American Alpha, Dolph Ziggler. Oh, shit. Yeah, Dolph Ziggler, Natalya, Alberto Del Rio. And that was all the live air draft. As for the supplemental draft for SmackDown, you had the Usos, Demon Kane. So not Corporate Kane, or just Kane. You have the Demon Kane. Naomi, The Ascension, Zack Ryder, Apollo Crews, Alexa Bliss. Oh god, my computer's falling down a little bit. Breezango, Eva Marie, the Vaudevillains, Eric Rowan, Mojo Rawley, and Carmella. And before I say anything, out of someone that was up on the main roster already, Heath Slater was not drafted. Heath Slater not fucking drafted. So what I'm going to assume is they're going to have something special with him going. Which I still find it stupid too that they kind of split up the Social Outcasts. I did like Social Outcasts, but they did split up a lot of the tag teams in the stables, which I find really stupid as well. Like, splitting up the Wyatt family was kind of stupid. Splitting up, I think that's really all to split. No. Having the Lucha Dragon split up was stupid. Having, the fucking Wyatt family split up was stupid. Splitting up the, I can't think of what it's called. Splitting up Social Outcast was stupid. And whoever else they split up. Granted, Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley's on the same show. So, Return of the Hype Bros, I want to assume might be the Return of the Hype Bros. But, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, these rosters just seem weird to me enough. Because there's people drafted that I don't know why they were drafted. Like, Nia Jax. I'm not commenting her ability, but why would Nia Jax be drafted before Bayley? You know what I'm saying? Bayley not being drafted. And I did say Paige was also on Raw, by the way, in case I didn't. I feel like I didn't. But, I know Nia Jax being drafted for Bayley, and Bayley wasn't drafted at all from NXT. Carmella on SmackDown drafted for Bayley. I feel like that's just weird enough to do. I'm trying to think. Again, I'm not really complaining about the rosters. Oh, no, here's the thing. Why the hell would you draft Brock Lesnar? Someone who only shows up 5 times a year, roughly. That wasn't... I feel like that was just stupid. No, Brock, he only shows up... He's a part-timer. People like The Undertaker... Undertaker wasn't drafted. Triple H wasn't drafted. Why draft Brock? Brock only shows up 5 times a year, roughly. And when he does pay-per-views, he only does the big pay-per-views like SummerSlam, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series. That's 4 matches right there, and whatever matches are in between. So that's maybe 5 matches, and he shows up to do promos whenever. Why draft Brock if he's a part-timer? I'm not going to say they shouldn't have drafted Brock, but I'm going to say it. They shouldn't have drafted Brock. I feel like that's just stupid. It's redundant to do, The draft should only be for the full-timers who's around all year long. When they do house shows, when they do the ones that do Raw, the ones that do SmackDown, I just find it really completely stupid. But I'm not gonna. It's tough to be. Not much you can say. Undertaker wasn't drafted to SmackDown. Oh god, my voice went out. But Undertaker wasn't drafted to SmackDown, and he's a part timer, and he only does one anywhere between 1 to 3 matches a year, or he just shows up to do whatever. So why fucking draft Brock? I find that kind of stupid, but whatever. Now, as for this, something that's also matters. SmackDown, as of currently, which, all this could change come WrestleMania, or not come WrestleMania, come Battleground this Sunday, which my predictions will be up later as well. All for right now, all SmackDown has is the WWE Championship and the Intercontinental Championship, which again, this all could change. Raw, they have the Tag Team Championships, the U.S. Championship, and the Women's Championship. That's 3 championships. As well as having exclusively the Cruiserweights. That's 4 right there. That's 4. Essentially 4 things. You know, I'm fine with them. You know, I'm fine with them splitting up the tag teams because, you know, have the tag team belt, because they don't have many tag teams anyway. So have the tag team belt, you know, go back and forth between both shows, possibly stuff like that. You know, but if the Cruiserweights are going to be exclusive to Raw, have the Divas exclusive to SmackDown. You know, I'm not trying to be a bitch about it, but it's true. Have the Divas on one show, have the Cruiserweights on one show. Because if you're bringing the Cruiserweights back, have them exclusive to one show, then have the Divas who are on the main roster exclusive to another show. I feel like that just makes a lot of sense. You know, they shouldn't have split up the women like they were going to do. The tag teams, okay, I can understand them splitting up. But again, the women should only be... I feel like they should have just done that. Have the Cruiserweight exclusive to one show. If they're going to have the Cruiserweight exclusive to Raw, have the women exclusive to SmackDown. But they didn't do that. So, here's what I'm going to assume is going to happen. Because, you know, here's the thing. The women with SmackDown has nothing to fight for. Unless they decide to, you know, do what they want to do with the women's or do what I expect them are going to do with the tag team championships. Go back and forth between both shows, as well as with the women's championship. Go back and forth between both shows, which, alright, makes sense. But here's the thing too. I don't know what I was going to say. Are they going to bring a world title in for Raw? Or the other world title, you know, if, like, because Roman Reigns and Seth are Raw, so if Raw gets the WWE Championship, will SmackDown have a world title? Or if SmackDown has it, will Raw get the world title? It just seems like a mess. I really do feel like it seems like a mess the way they did the titles and stuff, because there's not many titles and shit. And then, like, this Sunday, Rusev faces Zack Ryder, Raw vs. SmackDown for the US Championship. Same way with Darren Young and Darren Young and The Miz with the Intercontinental Championship, cross brand, which my predictions will kind of be based off that, but I don't know. I feel like it's just really kind of stupid the way they done this draft, the way they split up the women, they split up the tag teams, which the tag teams, I'm fine with them splitting up, you know, that way the tag teams and tag team titles kind of split between the shows, whatever. You know, the Women's Championship, though, splitting between both shows was really stupid. Especially if they decided to bring back the Cruiserweight title and the Cruiserweight exclusive to SmackDown, or exclusive to Raw. You know, have something exclusive, you know. That's just me. You know. That's all really I have to say. You know, I made this way too long, probably, to talk about the draft. But, oh well. This will be the end of this video. Again, my predictions for Battleground will be up later today. The rosters will be down in the description. It's going to be long as fuck, but I'm going to try to split it. But will be down in the description if you want to look at the rosters yourself. But before I say anything too, well, no, I'll say it though in my prediction video. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, guys, live free and rock.